When thinking about the type of person required, the type of engineer, what's an engineer required to respond to an urban humanitarian response, I think one has to start thinking about the context and how that context is different to where many, particularly NGO WATSAN engineers maybe have been working previously. And working in the urban context will require them to work with partners who they're not traditionally used to working with, such as the municipalities, the water companies, water utilities, and the private sector. And in order to do that, and to do that effectively, I think they have to be appreciative of the constraints that are on them as well. Many of them will be under-resourced, overworked. Key people you find who are very good and competent in their positions may have many people reporting to them, finding it difficult to delegate to others. So it can be quite a frustrating system to work with. But you have to appreciate that in order to work out how to get the best out of it if you're to be providing adequate water supplies and sanitation services. I think you also need to be thinking about, that's on the service provider side, if you like, but I think also one needs to be thinking about the actual delivery side and understanding how the different ways in which particularly water services are delivered in low-income urban areas and how you could make best use of that or adapt that in a humanitarian response. And certainly you now work in water and sanitation for the urban poor. A lot of the work that we do is focused around enabling the service providers to provide services that are accessible and affordable, and working with the utilities to find ways of actually delivering water that does meet the requirements of low-income areas, which is something that they're not necessarily used to themselves. So there's an opportunity in a humanitarian response to further develop that capacity, I think, within the water utilities. But also to get the most from them, they will have to see you as a credible professional engineer, or perhaps, should we say, I'm a more formal engineer than some that have previously been working in humanitarian response. Somebody who does understand water operations, who understands contracting and procurement procedures in a more formal way than many of the NGOs have previously been involved in. So I think the main point that I'm trying to get across is that for urban response, one is probably looking for people who come from a more formal engineering background, who are more comfortable working with water companies, municipalities, and the private sector than has previously been the case.